Good afternoon. This is Arif Hamidi. I'm your instructor today. One more time, we're back in the classroom. This is a virtual classroom, even though I teach, of course, in person in physical classroom. Today's lesson is really very interesting, as you have probably seen on the post. The lesson is going to be short, maybe 15 to 20 minutes today. I'm trying to keep these lessons, in a shorter format, so that you guys don't get bored, and you can watch and review the content of this video. And some of you guys are wise guys. They figured it out that the guard mode is actually a Microsoft MMC, Microsoft Management Console folder, which can connect you to 90% of the Microsoft Windows 7 and 10 utilities, which we use to set up the Microsoft window or change the configurations, starting from the performance monitors or system management or users accounts or security or networkings and display settings, a whole lot of stuff. In other words, if you are a technician, if you are a home user of Microsoft Windows, of course, then maybe some of them could be very useful for you. And some of them are a little bit more complicated. You really have to be a technician to use those utilities. For example, Registry Editor, for example, performance monitors, memory diagnostic tools, advanced user management. So see, these are the utilities which normal non-IT users may not be comfortable using, but these are excellent tools for a technician. When we are in the field, we come across Microsoft Windows 90% of the time, and if you are a technician and you are supporting Windows environment, then these are extremely useful tools. So what I will do today, I wanted to go straight back to guard mode folder, how to create it, and I will also give you a code which you type in, and that is create a guard mode, a kind of MMC. Remember, I don't know if some of you knows, when you in the previous Windows, we used to use MMC, Microsoft Management Console, for similar purpose, but this is a much more wider and more powerful, and it connects you to 90% of the Microsoft Windows utilities. There are certain utilities which you can only use on for example, Microsoft Shell. But let's begin. What I will do quickly, since the lesson is going to be for 20 minutes, let's say, what I will do, I wanted to do is introduce you to some of the most commonly used utilities, built-in utilities in Microsoft's Windows 7, Windows 10, and some of the older version of Microsoft Windows. Then we're going to review these 10 useful system tools, which most of the technicians use on a daily basis when they are supporting Microsoft Windows environment in a corporate environment or in a professional environment, when they are at their job. These utilities we're going to review. I already have also recommending this website where they have listed these utilities. Of course, you can find all of these utilities in Microsoft Windows and also in the MCP, any MCP books. If you are pursuing an IT career, you can find these in the Microsoft study guides. Let's review. I'm sharing my desktop with you guys. So what I will do, quickly review these 10 utilities which we use commonly almost every day to support and setting up and configuring Microsoft Windows environment, mostly uh, on the client side, because the server side configurations are very, very different. We use server management tools and admin tools, SMS servers to manage server side. This is more like into client side, uh, like for example, Windows 7 and Windows 10, not servers. But let's review this quickly. 10 useful utilities which we use on a daily basis. Then I will show you how to create a guard mode folder. I know it's kind of funny, but that's what the Microsoft is calling this folder. Uh, the guard mode is kind of funny name, but that's what they're calling. But I will also show you that you don't need to use that name. We can change the name of the folder to any name. I usually name it tech tools. But anyway, let's go back to these utilities. 10 utilities quickly. The first utility which I commonly use at the work environment, if the computer, now remember, most of these utilities are probably used to troubleshoot when the computer is not working properly. It's not booting properly, it's not running properly, it's not running application properly, it has errors, has problem, and the users are calling you. So we have to be ready to troubleshoot exactly what's causing the problem and how to fix it. Obviously, if we cannot troubleshoot a problem, then obviously we are not able to, we will probably not be able to fix it. Sometimes you can fix it by trial and error, but obviously it takes a long time to do that. If you are a professional, then we have to get to the right conclusion and troubleshoot the computer correctly first time so we can fix it. Anyway, let's quickly, Microsoft Windows Memory Diagnostic. I mean, some of you probably not familiar with the utilities because this utility is not very commonly used in a regular home environment or even professional environment. If your memory, this is regarding some memory errors. If your memory has errors, for example, because the memory is even though it's a physical memory, but logically each memory has addressing, just like a house address. Each memory location is individually numbered, and sometimes these software map of the memory can get corrupted, and that's when the memory error will appear on your computer. We can use Windows Memory Diagnostic tools to, as you can see on the screen, Windows Memory Diagnostic tools to troubleshoot and find out if the memory has a problem. Sometime restarting a computer will probably fix the problems. If it's only software computing component loading into the memory error, if the memory is having a hardware problem, then of course you're going to have to change the memory. You can access this tool by going to Start, Search, and type Windows Memory Diagnostic. And of course, this is a memory scan. And in order to scan the memory, the computer has to, the memory has to be empty. In other words, you need to restart the computer. And if you're not ready to restart the computer and you are working or you are doing something on the computer, so we cannot use window memory diagnostic tools at this time. Second tools, which I usually use if the user is complaining that the computer is slow. Obviously, the computer can be slow for so many other reasons, but as a technician, I can use a resource monitor. In other words, this monitor, as you can see on the screen, this is what it looks like. It has a CPU monitor, then a disk monitor, and the network monitors. Most of the major hardware and software component are listed here. We can use to check the resource of a computer. Even you can check the resource by applications, memory, graphics, drill down, views, process, statistics, for many other type of resources. The third utility, which we can also use, is called performance monitor. How the computer is performing, or how many of these hardware and software components are performing at any time. See, over time, the computer tends to slow, and if we are looking to increase the performance, the first thing we need to find out which process is causing the slowness in the computer. So that's the utility we can use, performance monitor. It also have many options, as you can see. We can add many component manually and then check the performance. Now, this is the most important tools you will probably come across. Even the home users can use this. It is called a computer management and administrative tools. That is where advanced configurations and setting up the Microsoft window for as far as the users are concerned, or the security or performance or device managers, disk management, and services and applications are listed. Computer management can be easily accessed from the start search, or on the My Computer, right-click manage. We can access these utilities individually, but as of right now, if we are not using the guard mode, then as you can see, these utilities can be accessed from many different places. In Windows 10, it's under the settings. In Windows 7, it's in control panels. It's all over the place. But now we can use the guard mode to have access to these utilities from one location. This is the computer management administrative tools. As you can see, task scheduler, event viewers, share folders, sessions, local users and groups, performance, device manager. I mean, there are a whole lots of details. I showed you this website. It's called www.howtogeek.com. So you guys can go and check this out and read it. And then you can go open up your Microsoft Windows 7 or 10 and practice. As we said that before, just listening to these lessons are not going to be enough. If you need to, of course, viewing this video will help you to introduce you to the tools, but we have to read these tools. We have to practice on a live computer. That's when we become professional. Next tools in the list is advanced user account tools. Not very commonly used, but in some certain configurations, you might have to access the tools, especially if you are in a corporate environment where we manage passwords, advanced users, and user management, for example, changing profiles or moving profiles. These are the utilities can be used to transfer or copy your profile from a local computer to a roaming profile or on to the server. Then a secure sign in. As you can see, you can force your user to do certain things when they are trying to log into their computer. So this is a very useful utilities. You can access this from the run command. I hope all of you guys know how to do. You just click on start and type RUN, and you can open the run command. As you can see in here, in the run window, I can type this utility's name is called NETTLWIZ, and this will open up this user's account. It's pretty commonly used in a corporate environment. Click on advanced, and here we can change the passwords, advanced user management, and secure login. A lot of configuration we can do here. So if we're going to start going into detail, this lesson will be for 3 hours, which I usually do. All right, the next utility here is the disk cleanup. Very useful utilities if you're running out of disk space, or even if you're not running out of disk space, it's nice to run this utility. As you can see, you can delete many of the temporary internet files and some of the Microsoft window file, and clean up your recycle bins. Many of the unnecessary files which builds up into Microsoft Windows into temporary folders, and we should delete that. That usually enhance your security because of the cache built in from the website we visit on a daily basis. The website throw caches and cookies, as you must have heard, onto your computer to increase the performance of loading of the website or loading of the pages. We can sometimes those cookies can be tracked, and that's how many of these hackers hack our computers, using the cookies from your computer, which are already downloaded from the website when we go and visit the pages. So it's nice to do disk cleanup every once in a while, and especially if you are running out of disk space from on a C drive, especially C drive, where that's where your operating system is running. It's nice to run a disk cleanup every once in a while, and if you're running out of space, it will give you some of the extra space. You can recover a lot of space on your C drive. In certain instances, it may not help because you don't have a space on C drive. In that case, you might have to extend the volume on the C drive, because if C drive has to have a whole lot of free disk space because of the cache files from the system. Okay, let's move on to the next step. This is a very critical, useful, professionally, as far as the security is concerned, useful utilities. It is called Local Group Policy Editor. Now, here is a whole lot of security configurations we can do on our computer. As you can see on the left side on the content window, check this out. It says computer configuration, software settings, Windows settings, security setting, deployment, account policies, local policies, audit, user rights assignment, security options, Windows, firewalls, network list manager, policy, key policies, public key policies, software restriction policy, whole lot of stuff. This is the utilities which we use to secure Microsoft Windows, and also put some restrictions on a Windows computer. Usually it is overtaken by the domain group policies, but on a client side, we can do this if we have to. Usually in a corporate environment, this utility is not used on a local basis. In other words, we don't use this on a local computer unless there is some special necessity there. usually we apply group policy object from the domain server to the client. So that's why this utility is in a corporate environment not used as much. But again, it depends upon the necessity. What's happening? What is that we need to achieve? What is the goal? What is the restriction? What is the security requirement? All of that. That's when you can use the utilities. Of course, local group policy editor, you can access from the search menu, from the start search, or you can plug into MMC. MMC, let me show you what the MMC is real quick. You type, go to run, you open run command, and you type MMC, and this is a snap-in will open. You see here, I can add my snap-in here. Add snap-in. See how many local, let's say local group policy. Here's my local group policy here. See, local computer, Active Directory domain, which this computer is a member of, but of course this computer is not a member of any domain right now. So that's how you can access these utilities if you want. Here's the access. This is the utilities. So this is a different method, but simplified method is just search and go to, or you can go access this from a control panel on a Window computer. Registry Editor. This is a interesting one. Registry Editor is not used 90% of the time on any Window computer, especially on a client side. This is a advanced critical changes you will be making, or the configuration changes you will be doing on a computer. And if we type it a wrong value here in the Registry Editor, the service, that service or that application or that or even the system may not work. So before we do anything with the Registry Editor, we make sure that we back up the Registry Editor, because the Registry Editor, this registry, Microsoft Window Registry, is a utility, or it's a database of all the hardware and software and all the applications which we install on a computer. So we should back up the registry on Window computer. Usually we don't do that on a Microsoft Window 7 or 10, which is a client side. On the server side, we definitely run a backup on a state data, it's called, or we can also call registry data database, so that in case the computer crashes, I can bring the server or even this computer back to its original configuration. Of the users, I recommend that you read in detail what is that, which information you're using, and what and how to change the configuration, how to edit the numbers, zeros and ones, and what effect that change will have before we do it. I mean, it just requires a little bit more detailed study before we do anything. Then we have system configuration utility, very commonly used. It gives you journal, boot, service, startups, tools, many commonly used configuration utilities, system configuration utilities, especially the startup or the services. From here, we can stop and start the service, any programs, and use many of these tools here. You can type in any Microsoft search window, msconfig, and this configuration utility will appear. I mean, there are a whole lot of details. I only recommend you guys to open this utility and play with it on a test computer. If you are going to try not to use this utility, especially if we are not familiar what is that we are doing, I would recommend take a test computer or practice computer besides your regular computer. Because regular computer, if something gets screwed up, then you will not have access to a computer, which is almost impossible in nowadays, especially with all the things which we do on our computer all day, and the internet access which we have to have. So I would recommend get a practice computer, Microsoft Windows 7 or 10. Now the next utility is called System Information, very useful utility. It gives you, if you are a full-time technician, this will give you a whole lot of tons of information about your system, especially the hardware, uh, the versions, and the type, and the manufacturers, and even the spec. It give you, for example, here it shows you how Microsoft Windows, which version you're running, even the version, the build. Then it gives you what type of motherboard we are using, what type of processor we're using, what type of Intel, how many core, even the BIOS version, date and time. That's great, and this is beautiful. If you ever wanted to know what type of system you have, you need to go to Start, Search, and type System Information, and this utility will appear. And on the right side, you can browse from hardware, component, multimedia, display. You see, modem, network ports, storage, printing, problem, USBs, a whole lot of stuff. Just play with it this way. You open these 10, just practice these 10. I mean, there are many utilities in Microsoft Windows, but these are the 10 most commonly utilities which we use in a professional environment. Now I'm running out of time. Let's go back. Now I'm going to show you how to access all of these tools and more tools. These are just the 10 tools I wanted to show you really quickly. I have to, okay, let's go back to the, now this is my desktop. As you can see, now here is the code which we're going to need to create a guard mode folder. I know it's kind of funny name, but in a minute we'll find out why we're calling it guard mode. I don't call it guard mode. I call it tech tools, but it's simple, very simple. I hope all of you guys know how to create a folder anywhere. I'm just going to create, you can create this folder anywhere, but right now I'm on a desktop, my clean desktop. I'm going to create a folder with my mouse, right-clicking the mouse, move your mouse to the new, and then to the right, to the folder. As you know, the mouse only move east, west, north, and south. It does not move in a circle. Microsoft Windows is a square window. Your mouse is supposed to move up, down, right, left, not in a circle or diagonal. Okay, anyway, one more time, right click, go to new, folder. I know, some of you know how to create a folder. Of course, almost everybody know how to create a folder, but some of you may not. Maybe you forgot. Anyway, this is, and then I click on new folder. Then I go to my keyboard and type GOD space MODE mode. Then I'll put a full stop. Then I need to begin a bracket, this type of bracket. Then I will go to, this is the code. I can, if you email it to me, I can send you this in a text message or email. This is the code, or maybe you can Google it. I will copy this code. This code, go to edit, copy. Then I'll go Control V. This is the code. I just type in the name of the folder. That's all you have to do. You can manually type ED7BA470-825C-9971203E01C. If you want to type manually, that's fine. And then I will close the bracket. After I close the bracket, then I will just click next. You see, next to the folder, and my folder turns into MMC icon, as you can see, like a control panel icons. You see, this is the icon. This is how you create a guard mode folder. But remember, this is the code. If you type any, of course, if we will type a typo error, I mean, if we type wrong number, even one number, or even add one space on the right or anywhere in naming the folder, this guard mode will not be turned on in your window. That's why we have to have exactly this code, because this is the code, is a hexadecimal number, which is actually an index number, which connects to all of these hundreds of Microsoft Windows utilities. That's the game. I mean, it's a central connection point to all the utilities. So, okay, now let's go back in here, guard mode. You see the guard mode folder. Now, if I double click, check this out. I didn't do anything. All I did is created a folder. I did not added any utilities like we used to do before. Now, all of these utilities, everything from Microsoft Windows, setting configurations is right here. Check this out. Action centers. It will show you how many. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15 numbers. Yes, 15 item in action center. If you keep rolling down, administrative tools, 10 utilities. Autoplay, 3 utilities. Backup and restore, 2 utilities. Color management, credential manager, date and time, default programs, desktop gadgets, device manager, device and printers, display. You see, a whole lot of configuration. This is a beautiful tools, because we have a quick access. Of course, we are going to be more productive. Instead of going to here and here, control panel and computer management and searching and all administrative tools and system information, blah, 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 blah. We can access all of this from one access point. It's called Management Console. Okay, display, ease of access and centers. Look, check this out. 26 utilities in ease of access and centers. As you can see, ease of access, for example, fingerprinting or eye retina recognition stuff. Turn on easy access keys. So there are a whole lot of nice configuration which we can do. Then we have folder options, font options, getting started, find out what's new in Microsoft Windows 7, home group, indexing options, internet options, keyboards configuration, local and other sensors. Check this out. This is very, very interesting. Mouse, settings, network, and sharing centers. That's where we can access the computer, connect the computer to the network, or even to a wireless Wi-Fi network. Notification area icon, customize your icon on a taskbar. Right now, most of the time, you don't want to really change things unless it is required, unless it's necessary. You know what I mean? Usually, I leave my Microsoft window on all of its default settings and its default configurations. I only change the configuration if it is absolutely necessary for the objective which we trying to achieve, because there are many reasons. First of all, if you ever come back to change something, then you need to find out what is the default configuration is. If the configuration has been changed before, now you have to figure it out what is the default configuration before you change anything else. Therefore, my rule is I usually leave all your configuration at default. Default means preset. Thus, Microsoft has set up certain configuration in the system for 99% of the usage of the window, and we should leave it alone. And we only change if it's necessary to get our job done. That's when I change my configuration. Anyway, back to the notification area icons, parental controls. As you can see, get back to icons. There are 3 types of icons on Microsoft Windows: file icons, window icons, and program icons. So if you are a technician, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And if you are not a technician, then it's a little bit harder for why I'm saying that. Anyway, parental control, setting up parental control for any users. Like, for example, if you have small children, or you want to put some source of restriction for them, so where, usually for internet access. You can even shut down their computer after 9 o'clock if that is the time for them to go to sleep, so they can get up tomorrow for school. Anyway, performance information and tools, that's the next utilities. Personalization, phone and modems, power options, program and features. That's a whole lot of stuff here too, program and features. Where we can see which program is installed, which program is running on the Windows computer, and we can also remove or uninstall any of these computers. Then recovery, restore your computer to computer or reinstall Windows. Next option, next utilities are regions and languages. I mean, if you're in the United States, of course, it's your computer is probably defaulting to English. And if you ever want to change that, of course, you can easily change in regions and languages area of these utilities. Remote app and remote desktop connections, that is used for Microsoft. I mean, the technicians all the time to access users' computer remotely when they're not physically in present at the user's desk. Sound, of course, most of the corporate environment, we don't have sound working on the user's computer. We don't want to be them to be dancing while they're working, so there's no music allowed most of the time. Speech recognitions, that is a good options if you can speak to your computer, which is coming actually. Sometimes it may not work because of the accent or because of the clarity of your voice, but there is a speech options, and many offices use speech recognition software to create official documents. Anyway, then we have sync centers where we can encrypt our online and offline files. Then we have system, activate Microsoft Windows and adjust the appearance and performance of Windows. A whole lot of 22 utilities just in the system. Then we go to taskbar and a start menu. This is regarding Microsoft, of course, window interface, which you can see when you turn the computer on, and the first screen after logon screen, you will see Microsoft window interface. That's where all the taskbar, which is a blue bar at the bottom. This is a taskbar. and of course the start menu, and of course the system tray, and of course the quick launcher here, and of course the RTC clock. There's so much information we can I can extend this lesson to 3 hours if you want, but I have things to do. That's why I started this class a little early, 5 minutes early, so I can finish a little faster. But anyway, taskbar and start menu. Then we have a troubleshooting. Nice, very nice, good utilities to use all the time. If you are a technician, that's the utility. Find and fix audio playback problem. Check this out. You see, this software makes so much, the troubleshooting task so much faster and quicker. We used to physically go to the utilities and run all sorts of modem tests and sound tests and all sorts of mousing and keyboard testing. Now it's much faster and quicker, and I believe it's more accurate. It's called software-based troubleshooting. Of course, physically observing the device and devices, of course, is absolutely necessary. So right now, the robots cannot do what the humans can do, because of the humans have 6 senses, and the robots have not built all the 6 senses as fluently as human is. That's why the human are not going to be replaced by the robot in any time soon. What we can be doing, yes, is that we're going to be working with the robots. Anyway, troubleshooting is excellent utilities to use. Check this out. You can troubleshoot almost anything on your Microsoft window. Even the home users can use this. And once this utility give you a message saying this is the problem, then you can probably search online, see what is wrong, so that the technician, when you take your computer for repairs, they will not rob you, but not usually. The computer technicians are not like that. I mean, I know the car mechanics are famous for that, maybe. But technicians are professionals, and they will give you accurately, tell you what is wrong, and hopefully they'll fix it for you. User accounts. This is the user account, very commonly used in a corporate environment, of course, but in a home environment, you can also use these to create new users, to give access to your children, to your wife, or your co-workers on the same computer. Many people can use the computer, and not only they can use the computer, but they can also secure their files separately, because we can put passwords, and we can create 2 different profiles for each users. So there's a whole lot of things can be done on a computer using user accounts utilities. There are 13 utilities there. Then we have Windows Anytime Upgrade. Of course, if you want to get upgrade on your computer, Windows 7. This is first, of course, before you do anything upgrade, you need to find out which version, the service pack you are using on a Microsoft window. This is what I'll show you real quick how you can find this out. You can go to Start and type Run, RUN. This menu show up, and from here I type WINVER, which means window version. Open, and this will show you, look, you see, it'll show you Microsoft Window, of course, Microsoft Window Professionals. Also, even for home users, I always recommend to use professional version of Windows, not home versions, professional Windows, even Windows 7 Professional or Windows 10 Professionals, because there are many reasons, and one of the simple reason is that professional windows are more secure. There are more options. They are more stable. They run any program you want, and price wise, they're almost the same. So try not to get a home edition. Home editions are pain on a butt. So many things are very difficult to do in home editions, especially when it comes to networking or security or user management. Okay, here, window anytime upgrade, Windows card space. This is for smart card, when you swiping the card just like ATM card. Window Defender, this is a Microsoft built-in kind of antivirus. Is not very powerful, but it is there. Firewalls, this is another firewall for Microsoft Window. I mean, if you are a home user, maybe you can use a Windows firewall, but in a corporate environment, this firewall is useless because this is a software-based higher layer 7 firewalls, and the layers, the 4, 5, 6 lower layers are all open to attacks, and by the time the computer, your computer will be hacked, and a virus will be roaming around in your computer before this window firewall will find out that there is something's wrong or something's trying to enter your computer. So as far as I'm concerned, this window firewall is completely useless, but if you have nothing else in your computer, you can enable Microsoft Window Firewall. The real firewall runs on layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, not on layer 7. So that's why the window firewall is there. Anyway, a window mobility center, this is where you can use the mobility if you are running a mobile computer, for example, laptop, which we all are actually nowadays. Only corporate environment we use desktop. So here, and the Windows Update. So here, this is a whole lot of, check this out. In one place, I have access to all of these utilities, which I can use for setting up my window. Now, final thing before I close this session is, since many of you probably thinking, what is this guard mode? So what I do, I call it, I call this as a tech tools. That's what I call it, tech tools. But you can type any name you want. Okay. So right now, this is where the guard mode folder is. I believe the Microsoft is calling it the guard mode because it's power. It has a power. It has a one point of access to all the useful, powerful utilities to setting up your Windows and support your Windows and configure your Windows correctly and properly. And I think that is enough for today. And if you want to copy this code, this is the code. Until next time, I will see you guys again. Until then, I have a nice Sunday. Today, the weather has actually been pretty good. In the last 2 weeks, the weather has been really extremely cold. But anyway, it doesn't bother me. I just continuously do what I have to do. Either cold or rain or shine, it doesn't bother me. I keep moving forward. And that's what I do. But hopefully I'll bring another very interesting short lesson next Sunday, because I'm not on call next Sunday and this Sunday. That's why I have free time. Until then, I will see you guys later. If you have any questions or comments, please hit me on a Facebook, or you can send an email. Until then, everybody have a great day, and bye-bye.